was a normal school in a normal neighborhood with normal teachers, with normal students. But for Amanda Mann, life was anything but normal. Right from day one, the Mann family knew their son was different. Not just due to his odd cucumber look, but he was very bright. At the age of 2, Amanda could do quantum physics on his bedroom wall, and by 5, he was reading the works of William Shakespeare. But it wasn't until school that Amanda felt he was different, out of place with his classmates. As kids teased him about his odd look and girly name, he was given the nickname Amanaman, and it stuck with him, not just as a name, but stuck in his head and defined him as he grew into a young adult. In 1968, Amanda found himself at Berkeley College. There, he felt for the first time his IQ was a plus, not a handicap. And he was truly accepted with the radical group, the Citizens Defiance. In April of that year, he found himself in Memphis, Tennessee, at a hotel with longtime friend and civil rights leader Martin Luther King. Staying the night with his close friend, Amanda left King's Memphis hotel room to pick up an early morning breakfast. He returned to find King had been assassinated. With his odd timing of wanting to buy lobster sausage biscuits, this led to an intense FBI investigation. After being cleared of wrongdoing, Amanda felt outed by his close friends and his activist party. Amanda was lost, and he needed a new start. With a loss of what to do, Amanda did a complete turnaround. He volunteered for the Vietnam War. Due to his color and his ability to hide within the jungle, Amanda found himself in the middle of intense combat from almost day one. After 2 years of service, his ranking general found dozens of skulls in Amanda's tent. Fearing that he might be suffering from a bad case of shell shock, he was let go with an honorable discharge. From the war jungle of Vietnam, Amanda found himself in a new jungle, the concrete jungle, the jungle of 1975 New York City. There he landed his first real job as a bouncer for the disco nightclub Studio 57. Working there, Amanda found a new love, cocaine. Surrounded by the most famous people of the day and more drugs than anyone could ever take, Amanda was lost. What started off just as a party at work turned into staying up all night, partying and getting high every day. As the 70s came to a close, Amanda found himself jobless and broke. He had truly hit rock bottom. However, luck was about to turn around, and it was going to come from a very unlikely source. While living on the streets in 1982, Amanda ran into old Studio 57 partier Grace Jones, who decided to try and help her fallen friend. She checked Amanda into the Betty Ford Clinic, and it only took Amanda a record 2 days to become clean and sober. As he would tell his close friend Woody Allen, "When I set my mind to something, I do it, 100%. But the problem is finding something to set my mind on." After leaving the Betty Ford Clinic, Amanda set his mind on Los Angeles, California, and this is where he found his calling, by yet another lucky mistake. While eating a lobster donut at Randy's Donut, Star Wars creator George Lucas saw Amanda and was intrigued by his unusual look. Lucas, who was out scouting for his third Star Wars film, Return of the Jedi, was looking for a new alien, and was hoping to move away from using makeup and puppets. Amanda, to George Lucas, was perfect. He looked the part, but he had no acting training. Could he star as a background character in one of the most successful film series of all times? Well, after approving the script, Amanda agreed to the role that would forever change his life. In the summer of 1983, Return of the Jedi hit theaters and was, like the past films, a huge hit. The producers, the actors, George Lucas, all felt the success of the film. But what about Amanda? Due to some issues with likeness right contracts, he never found an action figure of himself on the Return of the Jedi card. Kids all over the world could play with Amanda's co-stars Weequay, Jabba, Salacious B. Crumb, and more. Without an action figure, kids quickly forgot about Amanda and his starring role as a background character in the Star Wars film. However, once again, luck would come to Amanda in an unlikely source. While at Berkeley College, Amanda had a class with Professor Duncan. Duncan left the college in the late 60s out of protest, and at that time he had become one of the most famous cartoon actors of the 80s. His action figure, based off his He-Man Masters of the Universe character, Man-at-Arms, was the 27th best-selling action figure in 1983. In 1984, Duncan formed Actors Without Figures to bring awareness to this growing issue. Hearing of the issue with Amanda, Duncan set his eyes on making right what was done wrong in 1983. After intense negotiations with 20th Century Fox, Lucasfilm, and Kenner Toys, an agreement was reached, with limits. Amanda, Man, was unable to use his real name on the action figure package. Due to union rules, his figure had to be released under his nickname, Amanda Man. Also, the figure could not be released on the Return of the Jedi card. He was packed on the new slogan, Power of the Force. Packed along with Amanda Man was his skull staff that he handmade himself years ago in Vietnam, and a Power of the Force coin. He was also allowed to appear on the trial logo card. However, his coin could not be released with it. Sadly, the toy company Kenner closed down the Star Wars action figure line the same year Amanda got his action figure. Due to this, many stores never carried him, and most kids were now moving away from Star Wars. After Star Wars, Amanda was sure his work in science fiction could land him more jobs in the field, and he was soon contacted by director James Cameron to star as the lead alien in the upcoming Alien sequel, Aliens. Things seemed to be going up for Amanda as James Cameron promised him a 4-movie deal, 60% of the film's gross, and at least 3 action figures per year. In late 1984, Amanda boarded a 20th Century Fox private jet heading to the Bermuda Islands to start filming. Sadly, he never arrived. His plane crossed over the mysterious Bermuda Triangle, and his plane and Amanda was never heard from again. In 2004, President Obama officially classified Amanda Man as deceased, lost at sea. But I like to think he's out there, somewhere, someplace, doing his thing, and just waiting for his return in a Star Wars film, a toy store, and our hearts.
Junkman.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.